Hello and welcome to the Nashville Daily Podcast. I'm Stuart Deming.
And I'm Aaron Pennington.
The New Year's Eve bash less than a month ago shattered its previous record for direct visitor spending.
A new law is currently being proposed that would limit the amount of calls a homeowner can receive from property developers.
Plus, a few lots that are in prime developing positions have been quickly snagged by developers.
We'll talk about all of this and more on Nashville Daily. Stuart, from your experience, it is probably a blessing and a curse to be one of the people targeted by developers and getting these phone calls with cash offers on your house. The curse is that you get the calls. The blessing is you have the property. And so, but if you are one of the people who are like, well, I would love to be in a position where I can just hang up on property developers trying to buy my land because I don't yet have a home. Well, if you are looking for one, we've got you covered with Brad Reynolds, a local real estate here in town, who would love to put you in one of those properties that people are robocalling you about cash offers for, which we'll talk here in a little bit. They have a limit to them on how they can do that now.
I was confused by the proposal of the limit, but I'll talk about that here in a second. Also, if you're going to thinkbrad.com, you should visit him on the YouTube. We have his YouTube channel pulled up right now, and this is Think Brad on the YouTube. He has a lot of insightful videos on the Nashville market, what's happening with the Titan Stadium. There's you and I, Aaron, on his page.
Hey!
He's coming in, sneaking in, tapping you on the shoulder.
Saying, get out of there. But if you are looking to get into a home this year, make sure that if you're thinking Nashville, you think Brad. You can visit Brad at thinkbrad.com or call or text him at 615-856-3270.
So before we get into the direct visitor spending for New Year's Eve, let's talk about this bill. So this is coming from the Nashville Business Journal. Newly introduced state legislation. I always mess that word up.
Legislation, I think. Yeah. That's
would limit the amount of times per year developers can contact property owners to buy land. House Bill 106 included this week by State Representative Dwayne Thompson would amend Tennessee law to state that developers and their related business entities couldn't make unsolicited requests to buy a property owner's land more than twice a year.
So does that mean, I'm going to read on because I don't want to, it's like, can the developer only make 2 calls a year total or just 2 calls a year to that specific property?
That's the question I have too.
So those requests would extend, according to the Business Journal, to phone calls, mail, email, fax, and other mediums. The bill states under legislation, developers could be fined up to $500 for each instant of contact beyond the permitted number. So, Stuart, that means that, unfortunately, your call with these people is going to be a little bit longer because you are going to have to take down their information every single time.
Well, so this is
because you'd have to keep track of which developer is calling you, and that third time that somebody calls you, cha-ching, but you don't know unless you write it down, I guess.
Do I get that $500 or does
no, you get that $500.
I could, no, this goes to the state. It does not come to the
I thought it was like the robocall laws, because with robocall laws, you get paid, but it looks like, you're right, developers could be fined
$500.
Up to $500, I guess.
So
yeah,
this is interesting because
it should be that you get paid $500 from that company.
I should be getting paid $500. If that's the case, all of you call me. I'll take your phone calls and take your information multiple times.
But I think I think it would be fined to that organization, and then that pays you. Yeah.
So the interesting thing is when I get called from a developer, because there was a period of time in the last 2 years I had a phone call every single day.
I believe it.
And you have been with me when I've answered some of these phone calls, and they're like, "Hey, are you interested in selling your house at so and so address?" And I say, "I am interested in selling my house at so and so address for $1 million." And what happened last week is the person just sat there and she was breathing heavy on the phone, and then she hung up.
Yeah.
And so that is the counter to it. And then I literally say right before they hang up, I say, take me off your call list. If not, I will file a lawsuit.
Yeah.
And then they don't call back. They call back from a different number.
Yeah. The thing, they're not getting any special list. They're just getting it from public records.
Yes. And so there was a law that came into effect. We talked about this laws in 2023. That was an episode we did recently. There was a law that started on January 1st where the assessor of property for the county clerk's offices can now name your your name unlisted on all of these public forums.
You have to email them, and it's really seems pretty simple.
So I'm going to go through that process, and I think maybe we should record that process.
Is this to see if the phone calls stop?
Well, to see if I can get my name unlisted on some of these property sites.
That'd be awesome. That'd be really cool.
I think that'd be interesting.
So New Year's Eve, going into New Year's Day in Nashville is the big New Year's Eve bash in downtown Nashville, spanning from downtown to Bicentennial Capitol Mall State Park. And usually those are fairly large events. I was not here, but I don't think it rained. No, usually it rains.
Yeah, usually it rains on New Year's, but it did not rain that day.
Thank God it did not rain because the event generated an estimate, according to visitmusiccity.com, generated an estimated $38 million in direct visitor spending.
And that's just in parking. I'm kidding. I mean, that's what it feels like.
But that was a new record. And it was an increase of 27% over the previous year's record, breaking the $30 million in visitor spending record. And that was announced from National Convention and Visitors Corporation. Now, let's talk about the hotel rooms and the occupancy rate, because the occupancy rate, I think, is very interesting. The hotel rooms, they recorded 32,996 hotel rooms were sold in Davidson County that night, which was a 13% increase over the last year. And the city's hotel occupancy rate was 85%. So that means we are finally
coming back,
seeing a correction for, we're finally developing enough rooms for the demand that Nashville has. Yeah. Now, keep building, because then that hotel price goes down.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Hypothetically, because there's competition.
Right. Theoretically, economics says that rate will go down as more are built.
Economics says that, but operators are also very selfish, and they're like, yeah, I'll charge $900 a night.
Yeah.
Because people will pay it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. There's the demand.
So that was really cool. Attendance, we talked about this before, but just for a recap, attendance was about 210,000 at midnight. That was a record number.
This is some cool highlights. So visitors made up 46% of the attendees.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
So 54%
were local,
that's fantastic.
Which is pretty good.
Most visitors came from the Southeast. At 42%, with the Midwest second at 25%, the West 17%, and the Northeast at 13%. Kentucky, Tennessee, Florida, Texas, and Illinois were the top 5 visitor origin states.
76% of visitors said New Year's Eve and Nashville's Big Bash were the top reason that brought them to Nashville. That's good.
Hotels were the top choice for accommodations at 71%, followed by home rentals at 20%. Staying with friends and family was 8%.
Interesting. Okay, very cool. So there's a lot of other stuff if you want to read in here, but there were a lot of nonprofits that were involved that got some cool stuff from all of this. But we'll put this article in the show notes so you can read a little bit more about that.
All right, so last week we released a video on one of the best smash burgers in Nashville. You can head over to our other YouTube channel, explore.nash, to see the full-length 15-minute feature of this restaurant called Cletus. Here we're about to show one of their best sandwiches that they have on the menu. This is called the Peachy King.
And what we do is we put some chicken breast, thick slice on the grill there. And then it's got to have mozzarella cheese, but we like to take it up a bit And we like things crispy around here. So we like to take these mozzarella cheese sticks, beer battered, right out of the fryer. We like to smash those babies on the griddle. Put that right on top. And then we hit it with some peach preserves. Nice big old spoonful of those. And then on the bun, we put a little bit of basil pesto. And then we hit it with some balsamic glaze. Put that pesto right there on top of that. And voila. This is our Peachy King.
Now it's time for one of their top-selling sandwiches here at Cletus. This is the Peachy King. What's very unique about this is it has a peach jam on it, pesto, balsamic, fried mozzarella sticks, and chicken. Let's dig in. This thing's going to be absolutely messy. There's so many flavors happening in my mouth right now. That pesto just kicks at the back of your tongue. The peach just absorbs all into your mouth, and you're just like, wow, that's amazing. And then all of a sudden, you just taste that little tiny bit of balsamic. It's blended with the mozzarella sticks and the chicken. A fantastic sandwich.
And you know, since we have Chunk doing the truffle shuffle on the wall, we gotta have truffle shuffle fries.
When you walk into Cletus, you're going to notice a few murals throughout. One is Dumb and Dumber, and the other one is from the Goonies, and the character named Chunk. And he does the truffle shuffle, the truffle. And so they had to bring this into the menu. This is the truffle fry option here at Cletus. So it has some truffle seasoning on it. It looks like some pepper. Let's just give it a try. The combination of the fries and then the flavor of the truffle is fantastic. These are probably my favorite fries on the menu. This one is really covered in truffle and seasoning. So much flavor. It's like, it's on your tongue, and then it's kicking you in the tongue repeatedly, and then just like the flavor just keeps growing in your mouth, and you're like, wow, this is amazing. It just pops with explosion. My mouth is watering. Every time I see that clip, I'm like, oh, wow.
So the funny thing is, when we recorded that, I had not yet had the Peachy King because I'm so favored to
with the Skippy Taille.
The Skippy Taille. But we went the other day, and I was like, you know what? I've got to try the Peachy King, mostly because of the video that we recorded and watching it over
and over
and over and over again.
And over again.
I've seen the Peachy King many times, and I'd had it. I'm more hesitant to try like a
weird
chicken
random flavors.
Well, I could see how that works together. Now I tasted it, but I'm usually very hesitant to get some kind of chicken sandwich because typically chicken can usually on chicken sandwiches you'll often find that it's drier, and so I've always been hesitant to try chicken sandwiches, and the Peachy King has chicken on it. But I got it the other day.
Tell me through your experience.
And oh my gosh, the chicken is amazing. Honestly, some of the best chicken on a chicken sandwich I've ever had. It's seasoned so well. It's so thinly sliced and stacked high. And it's juicy. I mean, it's just incredible. So highly recommend that more people make chicken sandwiches this way. But all the flavors worked really, really well together.
Especially with the balsamic, like with that peach and the balsamic.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. Just one great combined flavor when you eat it, and so very, very highly recommended the Peachy King. And hopefully, let us know if you've been to Cletus yet. If you've watched the video, been to Cletus. Let us know in the comments of this video on Nashville Daily Podcast on our YouTube channel there if you've had it or what you've had so far at Cletus. Let us know. We'd love to see what your favorites are.
Here in a second, we're about to talk about some more properties that have been sold in Nashville, and it seems like the list just grows on and on every day. Kind of feels like a new restaurant announcement every day with new properties being sold. But first, we need to talk about our sponsor, Screened Threads. If you're looking for Nashville-themed merchandise or Tennessee State-themed candles, they have you covered. You can visit them at Marathon Village or head to their website, screenedthreads.com, and use the code Nashville Daily in person or on their website to take 10% off your order online or in person. Now let's get into this development news. Like I just said, it seems like every day there is a property being sold in Nashville, because that's the case. And some of these properties, you're like, oh, I wasn't expecting that to go anywhere soon, and now it's gone.
Yeah, and when we say properties, we mean commercial properties. Residential properties happen
All day, every day.
all day, every day. And so these are very much recognizable sites that we are talking about today. This first one surprised me a little bit, but not totally, because of where it is actually located.
Yeah, so we have Greg, the Google guy, in downtown Nashville, right off of Lafayette. I know that's not how you say that here. Some people say Lafayette. However you say it, it's right at the corner of Lafayette in the old Fifth Avenue. Now it's Representative John Lewis Way South.
That's right.
This is the Greyhound building in downtown Nashville in the Sobro neighborhood. So you can see, we'll have Greg go a little bit around. Great view of kind of the skyline. Great view of this church.
Okay views of a few things.
Yes, that telephone pole looks really nice.
So this is, I think, the most interesting purchase of this group that we are talking about, and the most expensive. It's a 1 acre parcel of land that houses the Greyhound bus station, which first then begs the question, what's going to happen with this?
It's going to move down to like Spence Lane.
So
I actually don't know.
It's $14.55 million is what it sold for, according to the Register of Deeds document. The land was first for sale in September of 2022.
This is crazy. It was the previous property owner was First Group PLC, a UK-based provider of public transportation.
Interesting. The sale didn't close until December 16th of 2022.
Fascinating.
Greyhound sold the land to Cincinnati-based First Group Services Incorporated in July of 2021, according to tax records. Both were subsidiaries of First Group PLC at the time. In October of 2021, First Group sold Greyhound lines, but the Greyhound properties remained with First Group Services.
That's confusing.
In a release announcing the sale of Greyhound lines, First Group said the properties would initially be leased back to Greyhound at market rates, but were expected to be sold over the next 5 years.
And it sold pretty fast.
The purchaser of the Nashville Greyhound property is 20 Lake Management, an affiliate of Lake Management LLC, an affiliate of 20 Lake Holdings, which bought $140 million of First Group's Greyhound properties.
So does that mean the buses are here to stay?
Maybe. They may be taking over that and just redoing it with their own transportation, or Greyhound may be dissolving and, this 20 Lakes is going to be taking over that. But according to Stuart Butchers, he's the head of corporate communications. He said this is part of First Group's strategy to sell our North American divisions to focus on our UK bus and rail operations.
Which makes sense because you're a UK provider of transportation.
So he says part of our North American business was Greyhound Lines Incorporated, which we sold in October of 2021. We retained as much as Greyhound's property at that time, but with the December announcement, these have now been sold. The Tennessean says plans for the future of the Greyhound bus station are unknown, as Greyhound Lines Incorporated didn't respond to media requests for additional information. Neither did 20 Lakes Management.
All right, Aaron, 2 options here.
Ooh, I know.
3 options. This is 3 options.
There are a lot of options, but I know which 3 you're thinking of.
All right, so first option that I'm going to propose for this site is an apartment complex.
Ooh.
The second option I'm going to propose for this site is some type of tourist attraction.
Ooh.
The third, like Dolly Parton's tourist attraction. That's a great site. The third is the most significant, and I think is a very realistic possibility.
Yes, this is one that I agree with. I already know what you're going to say.
This is a trail line, not trail line, a train line from the Nashville International Airport to where Greyhound is.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
I think there's a very realistic possibility because let me
The other possibility is a skyscraper.
A skyscraper. Yeah.
Always a possibility.
Which could be an apartment complex. But I want to get Greg back on the street real quick. So
get on the street.
I've been predicting this for a few years, and I wanted to start saying some more of my predictions here on the podcast so I can have validation. And this church right here, let's see if we can get Greg down there. Okay, this church right here is owned by Bob Dylan. And supposedly this church right here is going to become a distillery / venue / potential bar.
Correct. I think that's already in the works, and I think that's almost happening
for a long time.
Yeah.
This lot right here has been for sale for a long time. It's been fenced for a long time, for at least 6 months. But then you have this situation right here. This is the Rocket Town. And there was a church that was meeting there called the Belonging Co. They have now moved to Metro Center. And
they've been there for over a year now.
Over a year, maybe 2 years. They now have moved to Metro Center. They've been there for a while. I don't believe there's any other churches meeting in Rocket Town. There's been some conversations about Rocket Town relocating to other parts of Nashville behind the scenes. So I think there's going to be a transit hub somewhere in this general area. Greyhound makes sense. Honestly, Rocket Town will make the most sense because of how big the parcel of land is.
So the other thing to consider, and this is because it may sound like that's so out of the blue, but in the master plan for B&A Vision for the airport is to have some kind of train line incorporated with their airport. That's public. That's on their thing. Now, they don't say anything about it connecting to downtown, but there's been a lot of talks of hopes for that in the near future. But nothing official has been even really rumored in that sense. But it's been a lot of hopes that something like that happens from the airport to downtown. That area would make the most sense of downtown to hop onto Murfreesboro and then just head straight downtown. Which becomes Lafayette and all that stuff. That would make the most sense. Greyhound, even though it's a transportation company, doesn't necessarily have to become another transportation thing, but it's in the area that makes the most sense for it. Yep. And there's so much land in there that could really develop into that area. It's a great launching point into downtown from that side of the city. Everything just makes so much sense. We're saying it because we hope that it's true.
We're saying it because it's going to become a reality. Something like that will become a reality.
The holdback is that Nashville's spending is not prioritizing that. That's the only thing that's real. It would have to be almost a major public-private partnership in order for that to happen. Right now.
Yeah, right now. But the interesting thing, so if it's a train station coming into that area, you have to have an area where the trains can go.
You'd have to have a very large area.
Turn. Unless it's
very large area.
Unless the train has two basically locomotives.
It could just go back and forth.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. It's just like one of those it could
like
be,
the National Star, just go back and forth.
Yeah, it could do that too. And so there's potentials for that as well. So you need an area where you can offload a lot of people and unload a lot of people.
Yeah. It's very hard for WeGo to make an announcement for a new bus stop.
Yeah.
That's why I see it a very difficult thing for WeGo to announce something like that.
But a private company can take care of all of it.
Yes, they could. Yes, they could.
All right, so let's have I have Greg, the Google guy, at 321 Tennessee Route 155, and he's looking at this building that just sold for.
Greg had some.
He got there.
Some legs on him.
He got there. This building just sold for $950,000. This is the former McDougal. Is it McDougal Chicken?
McDougal's Chicken.
McDougal's Chicken. I remember going to this place a few times and getting their chicken there. It was fantastic.
I've not been to this location, but I've been to the location, Hillsborough Village, right? I think they have a McDougal's.
Yeah, is that the one that caught on fire?
I can't remember if McDougal's or the 8th Avenue one. caught on fire?
I think it was a Hillsborough Village, the 8th Avenue one. No, it's 12th Avenue.
12th Avenue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it was the Hillsborough Village one.
Yeah.
But this was their original location in West Nashville. This just sold for $950,000.
Their chicken is phenomenal. Absolutely love it.
Their sauces are some of my favorite sauces for chicken in town. Now we're having Greg go back into downtown Nashville, and this is a really interesting site.
Oh, I stand corrected. The Greyhound site was not the most expensive of today's list.
No, so this is at 210 10th Avenue North in downtown Nashville, and you may be like, where in the world is this? Well, it's kind of under where they're developing the Nashville Yards, and this was in 2017, so this doesn't exist any longer.
Yeah.
So Greg hasn't been able to go down that street for a few years.
Can we peek around the corners of these areas to see where we are? All right, we are going down 10th Avenue.
This is literally all
north.
Gone. This is all gone. Like the Lifeway building is still there. Like
are we in the right time?
Gone.
Where's
the last time Greg
was
went
in
down
there?
there was 2017.
Really?
Yeah, because it's been closed for 4 years.
Oh,
So
very interesting.
There's a substation.
That building does not exist.
Let's go into the post and show this. That building does not exist anymore.
That's funny. We could do send Greg in a hot air balloon too.
Yeah, this works, kind of. So this is coming from the Nashville Post. There's a substation that's right there, and then let's get Greg on the hot air balloon.
Yeah. It's so funny to see the Lifeway. Like I barely recognize that place anymore.
Okay,
that area. That's so funny.
Look at this. This is all under development right now, and there's cranes and everything. Let's see if I can fast forward in time. Greg, fix this, please. Okay.
No, I think this is the most current map.
Yeah, well, there's what's happening now in real life. There's cranes all over here, but there's a substation that was right here in this area that just sold to a Dallas firm for how much? $17
million.
$17 million
for this substation. It's right across from the downtown YMCA. The site is seemingly still planned for an apartment complex.
I was showing the wrong substation because there used to be another substation.
Yeah, I thought it was, but I didn't. You were close. It was across from the YMCA, but this is 0.71 acres at 210 10th Avenue North.
All right, we're getting there.
We're getting there.
Nope, it just did something. Hold on. I'm trying to get Greg there, guys.
Please stand by.
Just wait.
While Greg finds the correct map.
Okay, so let's change this layer. Here we are. Show it up. This is the one I was talking to you about with the Amazon building. We were showing the wrong site there, folks. So right here, this substation, $17 million.
There we go.
Okay.
Zoom out a little bit. I want to see where it is in context.
YMCA here. Nashville Yards here. The railroad track here.
There we go.
The new Ascension or whatever, Ascension, whatever that company is called. Asurian. Wow, I'm struggling today. All right, so there is a pizzeria that just sold in East Nashville for $2.05 million. And we have Greg, the Google guy, on the street for this one. And I know this one is accurate because I double-checked it.
So the building sold. The restaurant closed.
Yeah, the restaurant closed.
The restaurant did not
ago.
sell.
This is 2019. Greg, what are you doing? Okay, there's 2022. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Google, Greg is, he must have eaten something. He's time traveling.
He is struggling today.
Maybe he just liked 2019.
Look at that broken window.
Maybe he just liked 2019 a little bit better.
Yeah, maybe it was a better year for him. So this sold. So that's all the sites that have sold recently, but there's probably even more that sold today or yesterday.
Yeah, and so here there's a kind of a retail concept going into there. Already, so there's already plans for that. It's already underway. The restaurant closed, but the building, that little lot in East Nashville, $2 million.
Yeah,
that is
sounds about right.
That's very wild, which is very interesting. I would have thought the McDougal's location, which sold for half of that, would have been a lot more valuable. There's a lot more driving and passengers and everything in that area. I wonder if that's the first In-N-Out location.
No. Cool Springs. Cool Springs all the way.
Interesting. I'm going to call it. There's going to be a new concept in there. Maybe it's In-N-Out. I don't know.
Thank you for listening to the Nashville Daily Podcast. If you want to learn more, head to NashvilleDailyPodcast.com.
You can also follow us on social media at explore.nash on Instagram, Nashville Daily Podcast on YouTube, and explore.nash on YouTube as well.
The Nashville Daily Podcast is an Explore LLC production, copyright 2023.